Liam Turner sat alone on a grimy mattress in a cramped motel room just outside Los Angeles. Once a promising film school graduate, now he was just another lost soul with a shattered dream. The camera he'd once carried like a badge of honor was now stuffed in a torn duffel bag beneath the bed. The ceiling fan squeaked overhead as Liam stared at the ceiling, his fingers trembling from too much coffee and too little food. Rejection emails flooded his inbox. Bills piled up, and hope? It felt like a distant memory. He had tried, really tried. Short films, unpaid internships, film festival submissions. Nothing clicked. Hollywood, it seemed, had closed its doors on him. That night, desperate and defeated, Liam wandered the streets of downtown LA. Neon lights reflected off the rain-slicked pavement. Homeless tents lined the sidewalks. Every face he passed looked like a reflection of his own despair. And then he saw him, Quentin Tarantino. Standing in front of a small retro theater, chatting with someone as a poster of Pulp Fiction lit the wall behind him. Liam froze. Should he approach him? Would he even care? With a deep breath and a heart full of trembling hope, Liam stepped forward. "Excuse me, Mr. Tarantino?" Quentin turned slowly, squinting under the flickering marquee. "Yeah?" Liam's voice cracked. "I'm sorry to bother you. I'm a filmmaker. Or I was." Quentin raised an eyebrow. "You were?" Liam looked down, embarrassed. "I guess I gave up." There was a pause. Then Tarantino motioned to the curb. "Sit." Liam blinked. "What?" "Sit down. Tell me why you're about to quit." So Liam talked. About film school, about his passion, about the thousands of hours spent editing, directing, writing, and the rejection, the poverty, the silence. Quentin listened, really listened. When Liam finally stopped, Quentin lit a cigarette and looked at the sky. "You know how many times they told me I'd never make it? How many times they laughed at my scripts? Called them violent trash with no value." He turned back to Liam. "The difference between those who make it and those who don't is obsession. Not talent, not money. Obsession." Quentin reached into his coat pocket and handed Liam a small, worn-out cassette tape. The label was faded, but Liam could make out one word: reservoir. "This is a copy of my first script's original pitch audio. I recorded it alone in a room, talking to myself like a maniac. Want to know why? Because nobody else would listen." Liam took the tape, eyes wide. "I'm not giving this to you for nostalgia," Quentin said. "I'm giving it to you because if you're serious, truly serious, you'll make something out of nothing. Like I did." He stood up, flicked ash off his cigarette, and added, "Meet me here 1 week from tonight. Same time. Show me your story." Then he walked away. Liam sat there, stunned. The rain started falling again. But for the first time in years, he didn't feel cold. Liam worked like a man possessed. He pawned his old camera to rent editing software at a local co-working space. He called in favors, begged friends to act, borrowed lighting gear, and filmed in every alley and abandoned lot he could find. He didn't sleep. He barely ate. But he felt alive again. His short film was raw, unpolished. But it was honest. It was his. On the 7th night, Liam stood outside the retro theater, clutching a USB drive like it was a golden ticket. Quentin showed up. He didn't say a word, just held out his hand. Liam handed him the drive. Quentin slipped it into his coat pocket. "I'll watch it. Meet me tomorrow." "Where?" Quentin smiled. "Same place." The next day was torture. Liam waited at the theater an hour early, pacing the sidewalk. When Tarantino arrived, he had no expression. I watched it. Silence. Then, it's rough. The lighting's garbage. The editing's rushed. Sound mix, let's not talk about that. Liam's heart sank. But, Tarantino said, there's soul. There's voice. There's rage in it. That's good. Most people are too afraid to show that. Liam blinked. Keep making stuff. And next time, don't wait until you're drowning to swim. He handed Liam a card. There's a small studio on Sunset. My buddy runs it. Tell him I sent you. He'll let you use the space. Liam stood frozen. You're not done, kid. You're just getting started. Weeks turned into months. Liam poured his heart into his next film. He didn't aim for perfection. He aimed for truth. Each scene was a reflection of his past, his struggle, his loneliness, his desire to be seen. And people felt it. The film gained traction. First online, then at indie festivals. Critics called it raw, electric, and hauntingly personal. But for Liam, it wasn't about the reviews. It was about the boy in the motel room who finally chose to fight. One night, after a screening, a young woman approached him. Your film made me feel understood, like someone finally put my pain on screen. Liam smiled, because that was all he ever wanted. An email came the next morning. A well-known indie producer wanted to back Liam's next project. He forwarded it to Quentin with one line. I think I'm swimming now. Tarantino replied with a thumbs-up emoji and 2 words. Told you. The next film was bigger, better. Still raw, but refined. And when it premiered at a festival in Austin, the applause felt like thunder. Liam didn't cry. He just whispered to himself, I'm here. Months later, the film premiered at an independent theater in downtown Los Angeles. The red carpet wasn't lined with paparazzi, just people who believed in stories that mattered. Inside, the lights dimmed, and Liam's soul lit up the screen. Every scene felt like a heartbeat. Every line echoed with truth. Every silence carried the weight of a life once almost lost. By the final act, the audience was silent, eyes wide, breath held, and when the credits rolled, they stood, applauding not just the film, but the pain, the resilience, and the courage behind it. Backstage, Liam leaned against the wall, overwhelmed. He felt a hand on his shoulder. It was Quentin. You did it, Quentin said. Liam wiped his eyes. I didn't think I ever would. Quentin looked him dead in the eyes. You didn't just make a film. You made them feel something real. That's cinema. Liam nodded, voice cracking. I owe you everything. Quentin shook his head. No, he said. You owe yourself. You chose to keep going when it would have been easier to give up. That's what makes a storyteller. They stepped out to greet the audience. The lights were blinding, but Liam didn't flinch. Because this time, the spotlight was his. The applause wasn't for fame. It was for truth. It was for survival. It was for redemption. And as the evening drew to a close, Quentin raised a glass to the crowd and said, If you love what you do and you're willing to do what it takes, it's not work. It's passion. And passion never dies. Liam smiled, because he finally understood. Life gives you scenes you don't choose. But the ending? That's yours to write.